God here, and today we have a really big guest. We have someone who's been on the big screen multiple times, who's been on the TV screen, who has got a movie in theaters right now. We have Darcy Donovan in the house.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today?
Oh, you know, I'm doing just fantastic. I'm really excited to have you here because we talked a little bit beforehand. The chemistry is palpable, and I damn near gave myself a bloody nose with all that energy because you've been punched in the face, right?
Yeah, that's
that taste of copper you get from your nasal cavity. Like when I did that intro, I felt that. I gave it my all, baby, and I hope that it translates. So, you're connected to Ecoin Finance, but you got a lot of other things going on. We covered your belief in Ecoin Finance in the short time interview. So let's touch on that just a little bit here because I want to talk about all these other amazing things that you are connected to.
Well, thank you. Okay, that sounds great.
So, Ecoin Finance, let's give the rundown why you chose them over all the other projects to put your image in association with.
Well, the one thing I liked was their utility. I'm always looking at cryptos with a utility, and I always listen to my gut. I like the fact that about their wallet and, that the fact that their debit card, all of that's involved. That just really, 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 really was awesome. And, the way that they are working so hard all the time, that's a big deal to me. So,
well, that's honestly why I'm excited about the project, because I talk to new projects every single day. I'm talking to somebody new in the crypto space every single day. And over time, that adds up. And I kind of hate meme coins. I'm not going to lie, because it's dead money, in my opinion. It's dead money. What are you going to do with it?
Yes, I agree. Because I'd rather be involved with something that has a utility that people can use in the future.
I mean, so you look at a project, Darcy, right? Any project, any company, you look at your product and what's the scalability, right? What's the scalability?
Exactly.
That's one of the key points of launching a project is you have your idea, you have your scalability and your strategy and all of that other stuff. And you look at these meme coins, it's literally just a way to generate more revenue, which I guess is okay, right? I guess that's great, but there's a glass ceiling to that kind of ideology.
Exactly. Absolutely. So that's the one thing that I really, really liked. And the fact that, their roadmap is being completed quickly. And that's one thing that I love. But, the owner, Zaid, he is a dream. I mean, he's just great to deal with. And, their chief technical officer, Ronaldo, as well as Marcel, who's in the, he's in the charge of the marketing and everything. Just a really great bunch of, people.
Now, am I the only person that thinks Marcel kind of looks like Benicio del Toro?
He does. No, he does. Oh my God, that's too funny.
They could have been separated at birth.
At birth, yep.
At birth, because he is a gorgeous man and he is hauntingly gorgeous.
Yeah, that's too
haunting. Funny. I'm not gay, but for Marcel.
That's too funny. Well, I've been helping them with some biz ideas, so we'll see how all that
Marcel
goes.
Marcel OnlyFans, that's all I gotta say.
Well, Marcel, the only name I ever heard Marcel was when I was watching, it's the vampire movie. It's after Vampire Diaries. It's the originals. That's what it was.
He looks like a vampire. The guy from Ecoin. Marcel looks like a vampire.
Doesn't Marcel, that's like a vampire name. Marcel the vampire.
He doesn't look human in a great way. You know what I mean? It's so good. It's so good.
You look cute, but not in a great way.
Oh, I mean, no, he looks gorgeous, and I want to take him to dinner. That's.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I prefer to take you to dinner over Marcel, but if I can't take you, I'll take him.
Oh, good. Okay, so you got some bisexuality in your genes.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to get there. You know what I mean? I'm not actually in all honesty, right? It's good content. I do prefer women 110% over men. I have an aversion to penis. It's the lesbian in me.
That's not what I heard. I'm just messing with you.
But as it were, though, you're doing some big things, Darcy. You're doing some big things.
Well,
you got 7 million fans worldwide.
Yes, they're amazing. They're like my little family. I mean, they've been there for me through thick and thin.
That's big little family.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Like, people that I talk to and stuff, I think they just know that what you see is what you get. I mean, obviously, if I'm on screen, I'm getting paid. I'm a character. But in real life, when I do interviews and press, media and radio and all that, I mean, what you see is what you get. I'm very upfront. I'm myself. I'm non-judgmental. I try to, I don't know. I just an all around, person that likes to talk to everybody. I try to talk to many as my fans as I can. And it is hard sometimes. I mean, it's difficult. I don't really sleep very much. I mean, I'm like 7-Eleven. I'm 24/7 pretty much.
Right.
I mean, even on holidays, my mom's like, "Put that phone down. Put it down, Dicey." And I'm
Right.
like, "Mom," she gets all.
My
Or
family,
she'll get
my
in
family
her.
is the same way. They're like, "Why are you on that phone right now? You're with family." I'm like, "Listen, my business don't just stop just because I'm here."
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, they don't understand. I mean, and people, I wrote a book that, the fans actually wanted me to write. I was very, very excited to write it. But the one thing is, it helps people from suicide. And that's one of the reasons why it gives Darcy's Daily Dose of Inspiration, which, if anybody wants it, they can get it on Amazon. They can get it anywhere, Barnes
a
and Noble,
page by
whatever.
page guide to a better life.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. It's inspirational messages. Like you can read it every single day, and then at the end it says, it basically has Darcy's Daily, like my advice on that day. But I tell people to kind of use it as a diary,
Mhm.
and you write. I tell people write all over it, make your memories.
I gotta
And
say, you're one of the probably the most beautiful woman who's ever talked to me. So, like,
oh,
this is
that's so sweet. I
a
don't
win
believe
and a
that.
half for me, darling.
I don't believe that. You're too sweet. So
Well,
I,
yeah.
I'm sure you're being very, very nice. I'm sure you have hot, good looking one. But here's the deal. The one thing I will say is, like, I have girlfriends. They're cute, but
Mhm.
their personalities make them a 10. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some of those. I've worked with some beautiful women, but their personalities are like, oh my God. It's like you'd rather like be around a dead fish
There was this one
and hang
chick.
out.
It was like when I was in my early 20s, and she was like super, super hot, but she like
Uh-huh.
walked and talked with this ego. And she was getting
Oh,
confrontational with me one day because she thought I wanted to her. And I said, "Listen, you're such a I'd rather tase you than you. Watch it drool on yourself, and then maybe I'll get off."
oh my God, I'm using that. Can I use that line? That's it. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
use it. Yeah.
Like,
I
no,
I I
it's
tell people like,
crazy. We're all
yeah,
people.
but Crowley, there's just as many guys. I mean, I've worked around, a lot of A-list celebrities, and some of them, I got to tell you, like, I'm gonna give kudos to Paul Rudd, Will Ferrell, Nathan Fillion, Chris Pratt is amazing. These are all great guys, but I've also worked around some people, and what's funny is they're not even that famous, and they think their don't stink, and it is like I can't tell you, man. I'm like, my God, just because you're hung like a gerbil, don't hate the world and be an asshole.
I feel like the
So
smaller the meaner the
yeah,
person.
I mean,
Like,
exactly. It's just ridiculous. I'm just like, dude, please, you're not that great. I mean, and that's the thing, I like people who are real. I don't care what they look like.
right.
I really don't. I don't really care. My main thing is personality. That leads to a lot. I mean, there's people that have been burn victims. There's people that have soldiers who are in the army that have they lost legs. They just their face is distorted now, but it's just it's really their personality.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a friend that's a burn victim, and you don't even see it. When you're
Right.
talking to them, it's just their personality is so great. So it's really the soul of a person, because I do notice there's some people that have been in the business and their souls are bad, and you just kind of see it coming through their pores.
Oh yeah.
One chick in particular, she's looking like a witch. She's looking very witchy.
Ugh.
And I was like, yeah,
In a
that's her
bad
soul.
way. In a bad way. There's some good
Yeah.
witchy looks out there, I'll just say it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's some, well, I guess white witches. I don't know, but yeah, there's some hot witches. I don't, but most of the witches sometimes look like Broomhilda. Well, I can't
Oh.
say that, because Game of Thrones chick was hot. She was a witch. She was a redhead. I don't know if you watched that.
Oh yeah.
She was pretty good.
Now,
Yeah. No, she was pretty smoking, but yeah, you're right. It depends on the witch, but I'm talking about like Broomhilda witch.
Right.
I'm talking like
I
that kind of
I get what you're saying.
personality.
I get what you're saying 110%. And
Oh yeah, and I've been
like
around
you
those
had
chicks.
Rowena,
Oh,
for instance, from Supernatural, that little redhead, she was hot.
oh yeah, she was hot. She's very hot.
Now, I got a
Yeah.
story
Oh,
about
and that
Supernatural I want to share real quick. All right.
yeah, we were
So
talking about that earlier.
my grandmother, she passed away a couple years ago, and she ended up moving back to Kansas before we got to keep watching the series together. We watched 11 seasons of Supernatural together.
Oh wow.
And, well over 100 episodes of Supernatural. I don't remember the exact number, but 11 full seasons. And she had
That's amazing.
Alzheimer's and dementia. So she couldn't remember a lot of things, but she could remember Sam and Dean.
Oh yeah, Jensen Ackles. I mean, he's married now, so I believe that when you're married, you're off limits. But yeah, Jensen Ackles was my heartthrob for many, many years. I remember he started out on I think a soap. And I was like, damn, I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating cookies. I mean, dang. I was like, he would,
And so Supernatural, like I finished the series because of my grandmother,
Aw.
and like,
Well, I got to tell you,
I love the series.
Yeah, well, when I first your name Crowley, that's what it immediately I thought about was Supernatural. And just so you know, one of my buddies, Jim Michaels, he was executive producer. And so, I'm going to forward this interview over to him, and I'm going to tell him, Jim Michaels,
right.
You need to know about how much you made a difference in Crowley's life.
It gave me and my grandmother something to bond over when she was lost in the sea of her own mind.
That is amazing.
Like legitimately, it gave her a tether to reality, even though it was fiction. Right. And
right.
Like I can't thank the team of that project enough for giving me that with my grandmother, because
Jim, I hope you let Jensen and everybody hear this, and
that would be like on an emotional level, that would be a dream for me, that they would just not even give me any recognition, right? Just like for them to know what they did for my relationship with my grandmother, like just the knowledge that they'd know that, because my grandmother, she was a wonderful person. Every time she saw Jensen shirtless, she'd go,
okay,
woo-wee.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Whenever she saw the guys shirtless, Jared and Jensen, she'd be like, ooh-wee. If I was a little younger, they'd be mine.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jensen, they're both really hot. Like my sister's like, I said, she goes, which one do you want? The great thing about her and I is we always we like different stuff. She always goes, you can have the first pick. I'm like, Jensen's my guy. And so she was like, Jared was her guy. So we would always like joke about that, but they're married and they're happy. And I always respect that because their wives are beautiful and I know they've got kids. So I always believe, you have to, to me now I look at them, it's completely different because, they're married,
right?
They have kids, but
well, that's the weird thing when you work in content and you work on like in media and stuff, like you have a different understanding between like stage persona and
exactly.
This image that a person puts forward, and then you see that you have an understanding that they have a private life, right? Like I put out an interview with one of these coins like last week, and one of the girls that I was talking to got really shitty with me over the interview, like really shitty, like angry, and I'm like, listen, that's content. She's like, well, some of the words lined up. I'm like, you pull from your real life experiences. You pull from your real life experiences for this. Off of the mic, off of recording with this person, it's 100% appropriate and professional. Like 100%. Like I played the part of the guy who gets a lot of act. Now, not saying that I don't do well, because I do well. But the difference is I am actually, in reality, yes, playing a little bit of the field, but I would love to find someone to where I don't got to play the field no more. And to get upset with me over content is like getting upset over a child doing a part in a play.
Well, yeah, but too, you got to look at the mentality there. It sounds like, she might not be, the elevator's not going all the way to the top. So when it doesn't, you just got to get some WD-40 and figure it out.
You know,
at that point.
I don't really care, right? Because in reality, what will be. And the simple fact is, overall, I've had millions of people watch my content. I have hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
But I also feel like, you're being genuine and stuff. And it's like, if somebody's not being genuine, people will figure that out.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing is, listen, there's a million hot girls on Instagram that, they have millions and millions. They're obviously they're going to have that because, they show their boobs, they show their butt, they're wiggling around every day.
We're thankful for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys have to have your, I don't know, you got to have your fun stuff. But,
right.
Then at this end of the day, it's like my mom always said, it's kind of like the girl that you take home for the night or the girl you marry, know?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Everybody can, that's like spank material. And listen, I got a lot of there's a lot of my friends that are my friends that are the spank material. They're hot as balls. I mean, they're drop dead gorgeous.
Bring them on the podcast.
Yeah. But, at the same time, I kind of, I'm also family oriented. My brand is inspirational. I would say sex classy. I like to keep it classy. I don't think
I would say your brand, if I were to really kind of pin it, is there is a classic aesthetic of beauty to it.
Oh, thank you.
And you do have you've played to an extent the spank material on some of your roles.
Yeah. But not like
that's not you though. Like your personal branding, it's really relatable. And honestly, some of your Vine type stuff that you put out is hilarious. And I'm like, I was listening to it the other day and I was actually sitting in my chair just laughing like a maniac because
that's awesome.
The whole just do it. And then there's I don't know if it was you in the hat or whatever. And it was just oh my gosh, it was too funny.
No, that was me. A lot of people, I based that off my sister, but Marcy's a character, but people don't know that. I can't tell you how many people I've fooled and they think that it's, someone else. And I've just gone with it. I'm like, that's my sister.
Good. It's so good. And you are a real genuine talent to be, to be fair, because when you're on the screen, Darcy, you definitively pull the attention.
Thank you.
Of girls.
I appreciate it. You're holding my attention with your voice and stuff. So that's definitely, I've got ADD and OCD of the brain, and most people are really boring as crap. And then there are the few people like yourself that I'm like, wow, I could just sit here and he would entertain me all day.
Well, you know what? If you would allow me, I would in a heartbeat. And that's the thing. I'm a performer at heart, and there's,
and you
know how everybody has their move on the internet? You know how they get women's attention or the member of their preferred gender?
Well, I got to have you on for that because I'm going to do a podcast about that because I think, men now, they don't know how to act. I mean, most men, they don't know what a woman wants. So it's I did actually on YouTube, I don't know if you saw, but I did What Women Want. So I had this, he was a teenager. And so he's like, I sent this over to my girlfriends, and he's like, they looked at it and he goes, is this what you guys want? And they were like, yes, Darcy's right. And then I thought,
I'll have to scope that out. Because maybe I'll learn something. But
he didn't even have a clue. I'm like, I'm trying to help. I try to help my friends get laid. I got guy friends that grow up around brothers. I mean, listen, I help my guy friends get laid. I also help my girlfriends get laid. It's a double thing. Everybody, right. Everybody wants that. So it's but they need to know how to get it because it's men are from Mars, women are from Venus. But unfortunately, some guys, I'm sitting here and I just, oh my God, it's so funny. I go to these red carpets and I'm like, dude, you're a douche nugget. Stop acting like this. So, and then one guy, douche. So I'm like, when I go back, I think I'm just going to tell him, I'm going to help him because a friend of mine was on, I don't know, she was on one of those dating apps and she's like, what do you think? What do you think? And I saw his on there and I was laughing. I said, no wonder he's not getting anything. But, guys don't get it. It's okay, for everybody listening, I'll just give you a few points. I mean, even nerds, I love nerds. I call them hot nerds. They don't know that they're hot and they're nerdy. So they're quiet and stuff, but then you just grab them. You kind of you have to be forceful. And you got to grab those. But the thing is that there's all different types of men, but you got to put your ego at the door, because women, when you're in there, they want to, you got to put your woman on top and talk to her. So women love compliments. They love good food. But if a woman gets mad at you, it's good to, do something for, but do it for consistently. Make it a point system with yourself. I'm actually thinking about doing a game for couples to help them out, because men, I tested it out on, an ex-boyfriend, and he did it. And then I started thinking, it's like, you can use this point system to do shit for me, then go F yourself,
But there's a chick that I was involved with. We had a point system, right? To where if she would do specific things, we had a whole board to where, because the dynamic was a little different, right? Like it was more like, I was the dominant, she was the submissive. And when she would do specific things, she would get scored based upon those things. And whenever she got a certain amount of points, she could redeem those points for something special.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
And, of course, it was based around stuff, right?
But after you've been with somebody for a while, though, then you got sometimes it's like one person wants more, the other person's like, I could take it or leave it, So, my mom, my mom was having more than I was. My mom and my dad, they were two horny little and I'm sitting here thinking, how is it that my sister, they're having more than we are. What's going on? And they're twice our age. This is weird, but also too, I think there is a nice thing when you're in a relationship. I mean, I know guys, I feel like all men need to kind of sow their oats and then get married after 25. I think 25 is kind of where, you've been with enough girls, you know what you want, and then you go for the real deal. But I don't really believe that. And I mean, listen, there's always exceptions to the rule. I've seen people get married in high school. My grandmother married my grandfather when she was 19. He was 30, and they were married till he died. Mm-hmm. So, there's always exceptions to the rule, but it's different now because of the internet. There's so many things being bombarded.
So let me tell you my move I do on the internet. Are you ready?
Okay.
This is my one move. This is how I get attention. If it doesn't work, Darcy, I move on. Are you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
I send a voice clip.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because my best feature is my voice. And
yeah, but nobody can your voice though.
Oh, I mean, they can.
So you got to sit there. But I mean, you can do some amazing talk, but at the same time, I bet. But at the same time, you got to have a little more than that,
Well, it's to spark the general interest, right? Because
that's the first step. But how do you do that when nobody even sees you? Do you send them a pic?
Well, I mean, I have a personal life where nobody knows that I'm on YouTube.
Right.
I keep my professional life separate from my personal life. And that's the big thing right there, because if people know who I am, because I do make decent money doing YouTube, then they might, look at me a little different. And sometimes I get recognized by my voice too.
Yeah, I mean, I have that happening now. People I haven't heard from, bother me about, hey, how about the, so I get that. When I go out, I try to go incognito, and then there's other times where I don't. Mm-hmm. And so it just all depends, but
I don't do dating apps too. I'm really weird.
Yeah, I've never done a dating app. I've actually seen a friend on she had me help her, and I thought it was cool because I never seen it. But it's kind of weird. To me it's weird. I feel like the best time to meet somebody is when I think it's with friends. You get hooked up through friends, like a friend is single. At some point in time, somebody said, you need to have your own dating service, because I just meet so many people, and I'm generally interested in people. So I find out if they're married or if they have kids, and then all my single friends, I kind of put it in my back brain. And I'm then when I go out, I'm just good at, I deal with people all the time, and fans and producers and directors and A-list talent, and, all these different, celebrity types, and then, paparazzi, just whoever. Mm-hmm. Homeless people. I talk to homeless people. So,
Me too.
I can sit there, and you can sit there and I could go, hey, this person would be great with this person. Let me introduce them.
I've been waiting to meet someone like that, because I keep telling all my friends, because I work 100 hours a week, and I don't go out. And I don't want to go out because I don't want to waste time on pointless people.
Well, and I mean that's what a lot of these like powerful men do. They, they'll pay 50 grand just to get a matchmaker to match them with their perfect match. So yeah, I mean you see Millionaire Matchmaker and all that. I mean actually I had a couple of my guy friends were on that. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe so and so's on there. It was the funniest thing to see them on TV, trying to find their soulmates. But
I mean, I don't want to spend money to do that though, because then there's that.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
There's like,
well, here it is. We know when you decide to show your body, I will put you up on my social media and say, hey, so and so single, blah blah blah.
I'm hoping not to be single for another 2 years. God damn it! Like,
do you have a dog? Do you have a dog?
I have 5 snakes.
No, that doesn't make. You don't have any animals at all?
Well, my business partner and I, we share the same building. We're in the same house, and it just works out really, really well. And he's allergic to everything that has fur.
Oh man,
which is funny because he's a furry.
So he might be allergic to he's got to be to women that come in. Some women have fur on their bodies.
Well, he's gay, so.
Oh, he's okay. Well, then that explains it.
They host weekly parties, weekly furry parties where my house gets filled with like 20 to 30 gay men, like once to twice a week. And
that's awesome. Well, I'm looking for a hubby. Tell him to put the word out. I'm looking for a gay hubby.
I will do what I can. You heard that, Fox. You heard that. She wants a gay best friend, and I can introduce you to like 100, and you can have your pick.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm looking for like somebody to bring into my family. Like I had a buddy named Corey who I helped him come out of the closet. Now, do you remember the guy he was the big black guy that had his eyes were kind of crossed. He was on WWF. Tiny Little. Mm-hmm. Tony Little? What's his name? Tony Lister. Tony. Tiny. That's it. I knew I'd get it. Tiny Lister. Do you remember him?
Yeah, he's the Tommy Lister Jr. is his name. Went by Tiny.
Yeah. My best friend. Okay. Well, let's go back to the story.
He's known for his role in Friday as Debo.
Yes. So I'm going to tell the story. I don't think I've ever told this story in an interview, so this is going to be interesting. So my ex-boyfriend and I, we were living together, and he was he played professional football. He was also, he'd go to the gym almost every day. Mm-hmm. So I started to go to the gym with him at that point and start to work out with him. He's like, hey, come with me to the gym. And so it's kind of like became a family. I was going with him all the time. Well, this one guy, he was talking to me, and I was on the stepper. And so my ex was like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And he's talking to me about something. Then I said, my God, who is that guy? I said, he looks mean. And he goes, Corey? And I said, yeah. And he goes, hold on a minute. So then Corey comes over and he's like, Corey, come here. He goes, I want you to meet, my girlfriend. And so he's like, oh, he's like, okay. So he comes over, and then Corey's like, hi, how you doing? It's so nice to meet you. And I was like, I was like, really? Oh my God. So then we ended up, he left, and then Corey goes, and then I said, oh my God, I had no idea. I said, that's crazy. He goes, yeah, I told you. And I said, what? I said, he just kind of had this, he looked kind of like he was mean, but he looked just like Tiny, except Tiny had green eyes and Corey had brown, but he was like this huge.
Did you know that Tiny died last December from COVID?
Yes, I know. A buddy of mine, Cindy Cowan, they worked together. They were like, she managed him. So, she was, heartbroken because she managed him, and, what happened to him, she was just, I felt so horrible. But, the one thing is I became really attached to Corey, and, I know he died. I know I was so upset to hear that, Tiny died of COVID. Sorry, that's my pit bull.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Max, that's enough. So anyway, we sat there and started becoming friends. And so after me and Corey became friends at the gym, he comes in and he's like, he goes, we were talking one day, and I said, hey, Corey, I said, I've got some guys I'd like to set you up with. I said that I think you would be great with. And he just looked at me. He goes, what? He says, I'm gay. I said, Corey, everybody knows you're gay in this whole gym. I said, they're just too terrified to say anything to you because the way you look very menacing. He goes, I do? And I said, yes. So his parents didn't even know he was gay. You know, I mean, he literally looked like a linebacker. Like he was as big, if not bigger than Tiny Lester, but he was like a big girl. I called him a big girl. He says, I'm a big girl. That's what he would say. So he was such a dichotomy to look at. You know, you wouldn't expect it, but you know,
Well, I look exactly how I sound, by the way.
That's great. You sound like you're a big burly guy that yeah, you sound like you'd be a big guy. Like, and I'm talking about like mountain muscle man.
Yeah,
kind of. I don't know. I don't know if I'm on the
at my peak. I had 4 arms that were the size of 2-liter pop bottles.
Oh wow!
And
that's crazy.
I got a nice little 8-inch beard going, big mustache.
Oh, nice.
You know, can't grow a hair on the top of my head. You know.
So you're kind of doing the Duck Dynasty thing then?
Nah, the Viking thing. The Viking thing.
Oh, the Vikings! Oh, that's great. I love the Viking. That was a great show, by the way.
Oh, I love that show. I love that show.
Anyway, we got to get back to the gay hubbies because that's what I'm looking for. Corey was my gay hub, and he was amazing. And we went everywhere together. As long as he didn't talk, because the minute he talked, you know, we'd be down in downtown Nashville walking around after a red carpet event, and he's like, "Girl, I'm scared." I said, "Shut your mouth, and nobody will mess with us."
Yeah,
I said,
"Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth." You're like 6'4" and built like a tank. Dude. You have nothing to be scared of. Nothing.
And he was taking photos of me, and it was funny because, you know, I was doing this press junket, and all the guys were like, you know, the wives were with their husbands, and the wives are all like looking at him, and he's all looking at their husbands. I laughed so hard. You know, oh my God. Because they thought we were together. And I'm like, I am not together. He was actually my assistant for a while. He worked for me until he moved, but he was in the medical business. He was a medical transcriptionist. And, you know, he liked tall white guys. Like he liked the Swedish look. So, you know, but, you know, he was dating this guy. They fell in love. And next thing I know is he, I guess Corey got a bad head trauma to his head because he said, you know, lift me over the threshold. And the guy tried to, and they fell over and he busted his head because he's a big guy. He goes, I'm a big girl. He is a big girl. It's huge. But, you know he's like
I have a lot of passion for the LGBTQ community and things.
Oh, I do too.
Because I am so integrated in it. And my roommate, my business partner, when anybody hears his voice, they're like, "There's a woman in the house." I'm like, "No, that's just Fox." And he's got like osteogenesis imperfecta type 1.
What is that?
He's got glass bones.
Oh no! Oh, I've heard about that.
He's had over 30 surgeries.
Bless his heart.
But he's such a sweet being, and he's so intelligent. And like all of this that I do wouldn't be possible without him because he's kind of like the brains behind like setting stuff up and figuring out how to execute it. And then I execute and I deal with all the people and like perfect.
Well, I will tell you this. I'm behind a lot of businesses and people don't know that I'm behind it. I'm the brain behind it. And they're basically, I mean, there's some movies coming out that I'm behind. People don't even know.
That's awesome. Now tell us about your new movie, by the way, real quick.
Oh yeah. It's out actually in theaters. Yesterday it kicked off and we went to Universal Studios, City Walk. We had our own theater. It was awesome. But it's called Secret Agent Dingledorf and his trusty dog Splat. And it is a kids movie, but it's, it's got, a lot of stars in there from a lot of different movies. The kids have been in a lot of huge stuff like Perry Mason, a lot of stuff that's even coming out. Paul Johansson, who played my love interest in the movie, he was 001. He played a secret agent 001, but he's a One Tree Hill, Mad Men, and he's done a lot of, I can't even, Van Helsing. Yeah, that he did Van Helsing. Okay. And
I'm familiar with him actually. Yeah,
Paul is he's just an amazing guy. And you remind me a little bit of Paul because, he is a true talent, but the stuff that he did, if you do go see the movie, he's kind of like you, like he just turns it on the minute the camera goes on, which that's kind of how I am. I mean, people don't know I'm very silly. I am a very silly person. And it's, you got to be able to take my humor or forget it. You know, when my
So
dad's around,
this is a
I'm a
pretty
little more.
sizable role for you too, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it was a great role. Well, I did a role with DB Sweeney called Mr. Thursday, and I played, I was one of the leads in that movie, and I played a detective. Now, there's been, because the producers have been going at it, there's some problems with, legal and stuff. So it's just kind of been sitting there, but we did the trailer, we got a huge award for the trailer. It's a great movie, but that the problem is that some movies, television series, all this stuff, if there's legality problems or there's dispute among the cast or whatever, things don't go forward. Mm-hmm. So, I felt bad because my fans have been waiting on that movie, and there was another, named director that came forth, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna try to piece this together, and let's get this movie out there." And just all the talent too. Some of the talent's just kind of over the whole ordeal. It wasn't. It was one of the harder movies I've had to work on. I'll just say that. But
well, I mean, you have, as far as it goes, you have a pretty impressive resume as far as the things you've worked on, because people recognize the names of the projects you've been on. That's I think that right there is the biggest thing. Like, you have Parks and Rec, Modern Family, Hostages. I mean, you're looking at just all sorts of different things that you've done, All My Children. And it's like you were on Bones at one point. Like, it's a lot of it's pretty crazy, because it's like, to see kind of like how crypto touches everything and how everyone kind of just comes together. Like, I had this one person the other night, and I was trying to tell him about this airdrop that the channel's doing, a big airdrop. And they're like, imagine, because I'm self-employed. Like, imagine, getting real money by punching a clock every day. And da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, you sound like a moron.
I could do it. I can't. It's
like,
just,
you sound like a moron right now. You would rather work at Starbucks and punch a clock rather than make your own money and employ people. Like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You're stupid.
Well, it's not really, listen, I sometimes I've thought like that in the past, but you got to sit here and think. And there's no problem. There's not a problem with it. Like, my sister, she's an amazing, beautiful, wonderful, but she's a follower. She can't make decisions. So it's like, I'm usually the one. We have a saying in the house, what would Darcy do? Because I tell her what to do, and then she does not listen to me, and then she always f***s up. So then I have to say, I told you. So now she just, I'm probably negative. I'm probably 1%, maybe not even 1% wrong. Mm-hmm. That's it. And I'm not really I'm saying I've been through a lot. I know a lot, and I know what not to do.
Right.
So,
and
I think that, yeah, but you're more of a follower, or not a follower. You're a leader. Mm. I'm a leader. And then you have other people that are followers, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're going to go back to even the Bible, Jesus was a leader, and he had disciples who followed him, but they each in their own right. I'm always, to me, it's like, you're nothing without your team. Right. And you can, I've seen people, that have, I'm telling you, I've seen some great talent, and I'm talking musical. I've saw costume designers, just, brand, like A-list talent, but they've had the wrong people behind them, and it's their careers. It's messed up their lives, so it's like, to me, I always say, you're as good as your team, because there's no I in team.
Right.
So, I always, anybody that comes on, I tell them, but, the minute I smell something bad, I'm like, you got one more chance, and that's it. Sometimes I don't even give people, another chance. Yeah. It's
like, for instance, I was watching YouTube last night with my business partner, because we spend time together, because we're kind of like each other's only good friends, and we will.
Sounds like me and my sister.
Yeah, we were flipping through YouTube, and we were looking up content on goblins, right? Because I like goblins for whatever reason.
Oh my God, this is freaking me out.
I love goblins so much. And there's not much good goblin content out there, and I was complaining about it. And this is what my business partner says. It's like, well, shame on everybody for not having a team of 50 to execute it. I'm like, you're right.
No, it's just funny because my sister always, I don't know, her best friend, she has a roommate, and then he always says, they went to school together into college and stuff, and so they're besties, and he calls her the Goblin.
Oh my gosh.
So
You need to stop
he
selling
says,
your sister to me, okay? Because,
no, it's
like,
just that
now she's
blows
got
my
them goblin
mind.
chops, and I'm just like, my heart, okay? My heart
Is
cannot
hurting.
handle it, Darcy.
I know. No, you would fall in love with her. I know it. And
Oh,
she's a catch. She's a catch, and she loves a lot of sex with her one man. So it'd be a great match. I mean, not saying she's a floozy. I'm
no,
saying,
no, no, no,
she
no.
likes,
I would never make that mistake,
yeah.
okay? I would
No,
never make that mistake. Like,
she's very, very, like, she picks if she loves a guy, she just loves him and nobody else. That's it. She's
man.
that, like, she's an amazing, amazing person. Yes. But, she goes by personality,
Right.
and,
And there's no one in the space with more personality than me.
oh, I know. I'm trying to. She likes skull. She's got this weird obsession with skulls.
Me too. I got, like, if I look around my office right now, there's like 4 skulls within like arm's distance at the moment. I got this really cool like hourglass that has black sand in it that has skulls inside of there.
Oh my God, yeah. Because I'm like, she's so sweet. You look at her. It's kind of like, to see like this sweet school teacher. I'm not saying she's like that, but this is an analogy. It's like a sweet school teacher, and then, she's a dominatrix at night.
I have like kind of like the reverse to an extent, right? Like people see me and they're like automatically intimidated, and they hear me speak and they're like, oh, it's even worse. And then they get to talk to me and I'm like one of the most friendliest, like gregarious person you're ever going to meet.
You're a big teddy bear. Yeah, that's exactly how, like, everybody that, my dad was a football coach. So it's like, you got to think, I was this tiny kid and I was around all these big football. So it's like, I really don't get intimidated. I mean, I'm not,
Yeah, I don't get intimidated and I don't get nervous either because, my mother, she's a published author. She's got a doctorate and 2 master's degrees. My father, he was a minister with a master's degree in theology. And
nice.
My dad's best friend's a millionaire. So like I constantly just have been around affluence and prestige and all those things.
Oh my God.
And it's like one of the girlfriends that I had back in the day, she's like, you don't respect people of positions of authority. I'm like, why do I need to respect them? They're not more impressive than my parents. So why?
Yeah, well, I get what she's saying. It's just, I treat everybody with respect.
Well, I don't
respect
care who them. I don't kowtow. And
you don't bow down to them.
Yeah. I talk to them like they're people. Like, I'll give everybody the same courtesy, whether or not they're homeless on the street, because I do homeless outreaches and stuff, and I'll go out and pass out sandwiches and supplies and things like that. But, like, if I meet someone who has a lot of money and they treat me like a piece of shit, I don't give.
I'm going to tell them screw. Yeah, I've had that. I told a billionaire off one time because he was being out on the red carpet because he was being such a dick, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" I said, "I don't give a fuck who he is. I don't care if he's the richest man in the world." I said, nobody's going to talk to me like that. I said, and it wasn't really talking to me like that. He made it really. I had a red carpet, and him and I, he wanted to do some press, and he asked me, he asked my manager if I would do some, paparazzi photos. So we had that all planned out, and I said, sure. But, cause he was like an investor for a big film out there, like a big film. And so I was like, okay. So I came to the event, and, right before the event, I found out that my cousin committed suicide.
Oh no.
So my mom calls me right before the event. She's flipping out. My aunt's crying, my grandmother, everybody's, and I kind of grew up with my cousin to a degree. So it's like, I started crying. I was just really upset about the whole thing. And it kind of caught me off guard, and I'm right in the middle of getting ready. So unfortunately, I had to break down. I had to take about 20 minutes just to compose myself and then put on my makeup. I was there. And unfortunately, I got there later and they left. And then I apologized. My assistant called and she tried to apologize. She says, she's on her way. And then I told him, I said, if there's anything I can do, I said, I'm so sorry. I said, I just had a death in the family. I said, I found out, my cousin died of suicide and my family's distraught. And he goes, if she's going to kill herself, then she deserves to die.
Whoa.
And he said, oh, yeah.
Whoa.
He was like, and I went off on him,
went nuclear.
like in front of everybody.
Like
And
that's
oh my God.
dumpster fire human garbage right there.
Yeah.
Like,
And I let him know. And, then afterwards he apologized and he was sorry. But I mean, I
like
went off. I
you
think
don't fucking do that. You don't fucking
you
do
need to
that.
try.
Like
I mean, think about it.
there is a level that you don't cross. Like for
I
me,
agree.
you don't talk about my family, number one. And number two,
Yeah.
like if there's something in my past that's dead, don't bring that up.
Bring it up.
And there was this
Well,
millionaire at Thanksgiving, at the family Thanksgiving, and he got into my face. And I'm like, you need to back off. And he wouldn't because he was drunk, right? And no one's ever stood up to him. That's the problem. So I said, I'm going to beat your ass, old man. And then he kind of went and then moved, right? Like how childish. And it was like, and that was the thing, right? And then later on, like he got really like sorrowful and like, you're a person that I always want to be on the good side of and this and that and this and that. And I'm like, that's fine. You invaded my personal space and you had me cornered. Like I ain't going to let somebody, I don't care how much money you have. I'm entitled to my space. And
yeah, and I'm the same way. Like, I don't give a shit if you're Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise. I don't care who you are. I don't care, whoever you are. I don't even care. I don't care. I'm going to treat you with respect, but you do the same to me. If you don't, then I don't care.
Which,
And
by the way,
that's the way
Brad Pitt stars in my favorite movie of all time.
Which one?
Fight Club.
Fight Club. I'll tell you, me and my sister have the one show that I think any woman in the entire universe would want is Joe Black. I have seen that movie many times, and that to me is spank for me. So that movie is on our list.
That's in the spank bank, baby.
That's the spank bank right there. Yep.
Like,
so
I mean, yeah. I feel like, Darcy, we could talk
for hours.
all day. But I know that you got things to do. So I really appreciate you coming out.
I absolutely love it. I feel like we'd give Joe Rogan a thing for his money, a run for his money.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. I look forward to talking to you again, though. I hope that this is just the first time and not the last time.
Absolutely. Well, I told you I want you on my podcast because I think my fans would absolutely eat you up and love you to death. They would love you.
Well, coming from someone who's made it in the industry, that means the world to me. Thank you.
Well, well, you know what? I'll tell you this. You definitely have talent. I mean, I don't blow smoke up people's asses. I have people tell me, they go, well, Darcy, will you help me or will you do that? I was like, I'll tell you how to do, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna wipe your ass and diaper you and everything. You got to go with what I did. I didn't have famous parents. I had to, I was, and that's what I think makes it a lot better when you kind of have to be like a wolf almost, you don't have, you have to be a loner and you got to figure it all out. And, I do think that, my tough upbringing, you can't have a tough, you can't have thin skin to be in this business. You have to have a thick ass.
Right.
And
I came from nothing personally. I came from nothing.
Me too.
And before I did this YouTube thing, I was living in a trap house that the toilet didn't like to flush toilet paper and the doors wouldn't lock. And one of the doors didn't even have a door handle. We had like plastic bags because I was in a bad situation, right? Like I ain't going to get into it. But I've known poverty. I've known hunger. I've known despair. And the simple truth of the matter is,
it makes you appreciative.
I decided I was going to be meaner. Like, how dare life tell me what I can and cannot do?
Exactly. And that's it. And that, to me, rather than, having some kind of, Paris Hilton story where, you got rich parents and, it's to me, it's a little more easier, or as opposed to, you came from nothing. I was out at like 16 years of age and I was out on my own, and, to sit here and then, go from that to where I am, with no help. It's, to me, it's like that made my character. But, you have to have a tough skin, but it's also made me not, as I've gotten older, I feel like you get wiser and wiser, but you also, I don't take off anybody. And the thing is that it's kind of like,
anyone.
you can't. And a lot of people do, because the whole Harvey Weinstein that came out. I mean, a lot of, I met him. He was with his wife though, so luckily he didn't do anything. But I keep thinking, my God, if he would have done something, it would have been all over for him because I would have ripped his off and shoved it in his mouth.
Right.
So
And
the thing is that a lot of women, they get scared about that, and I'm thinking I'd rather sit in a ditch and eat worms.
yeah, because they don't want to be labeled difficult to work with.
Yeah, and see that's the other thing. You can't go by what people say.
You can't.
Because people, you don't know what people's motives are. Somebody might be jealous. Somebody might, have a vendetta. They may look like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. So I always tell people because, I had an agent and I'm just going to say it. She was a bitch. She came across as this godly, I'm this good person. I remember I went in with my business manager. She goes, oh, please, we want to sign you. And then I ended up telling her, I was saying, listen, there are certain roles that where I'm at in my career, I said, I won't do. Right. I said, so, and I gave her the list and I said, here's what I'll do. I said, I also know a lot of producers and directors. I said, I'll let you know. So it's like I was helping her with her own job. She makes money off of what I make. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you need to make me look good. But she was basically, she would send me on stuff send stuff. And I kept having to say, nope. And then finally my business manager's like, this is ridiculous. This woman's an idiot. We told her we're not going to do
that. I refuse to do. Like, for instance, I only do these interviews through Discord, and then people like my team like, well, can you do through Telegram? Like, no, the servers through Telegram suck. It degrades the voice quality. The audio is bullshit. Like, I'm only through Discord because I have my whole studio set up integrated into Discord. Stop trying to bring me shit that I can't do.
And the thing is that, people don't know, because of that, there was a producer that says, hey, I want Darcy in my movie. And then she made a comment about me. And it's funny because I always tell people, I said, the angels watch what you're doing. There was an email that was sent and I sent it to my legal team and my business manager, but she basically was dogging me to this producer. And the director was like, oh my God, that's not what I heard. And she's like saying all this stuff. And then, my lawyer was like, listen, lady, if you're not going to sit here and be you're supposed to be for your clients, but if you're not doing that, you're damaging their career. Yeah. So the thing is then the producer ended up wanting to go with her. She poached him to go with her agency. And then the next thing I know is she f***ed him over too.
Like,
but this guy, he's going on the words of an asshole. He's going on the words of,
they're grifters.
Somebody.
The swindlers.
Yeah. The swindler.
You don't ever want to work with someone who doesn't have integrity. Like, I'd much rather, if I hear someone's difficult, right? My interest is actually piqued because I'm like, okay, let's see what that means. Let's see where it comes from. And, there's some people out there, man, that they've done some shit. And like whether or not it had actual value, and it could have been like a decade ago, 5 years ago, or whatever. And I'm like, I'm really curious how their character has developed since then, because there's that plutonium, like, well, we're not going to touch them anymore. And I'm like, well, if they have a lot to offer and they've fixed what's wrong with them, then you kind of
give them another chance.
You do yourself a disservice by not letting that person perform.
Well,
it's kind of like those kids that are into professional sports that get drafted, and then they had one thing from like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, my thing is though, it's like I always like to be professional. I like to always do for people. When it comes to a set, but it's like the problem is that I am on my game with everything that I do, and it's kind of like going to a party where you have food, you have hot women. I thought about, table place cartings. I thought about a DJ. I thought about, we're going to have fireworks. Oh, what can we do afterwards? Oh, everybody leaves with a gift, as opposed to just going to some swim hole and there's nothing there. Right. And everybody's just like, hey.
Oh, let me share this story real quick. Mm-hmm. And you can see, I want to know if I was off base on this. Okay. So I host gatherings every week. Right.
Nice.
With my roommates.
How do you have the time?
With the
every week?
With the gay guys. Yeah, every Saturday, sometimes on Tuesdays. And we get together and we host, right? We provide food, the house is clean, all that stuff. So one of the people were like, we're having a barbecue across town. I'm like, okay. So I go to this thing and I pull up and I look at this house. I'm like, oh, we hanging at the trap house now, right? So I'm like, but you know what? Maybe it'll be different. Maybe it'll be nice. Maybe they just are economically challenged. So I go back there, and there's like 12 people, 16 people, and there's like 4 chairs to people to sit on. All right. It's hot. There's bugs everywhere. And the food, one of them some of the food's sitting on a folding chair, and the rest is sitting on like a cooler. And then everything's in grocery bags on the ground. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Like, you had been advertising this for months, and you could have spent $50 on a table.
Oh, wait a minute. So this wasn't at your place?
No, I would never. Listen, I would never host something without the means to make people comfortable.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. I mean, or even rent or something, or even tell one of your friends. You can even say, hey, bring a table. You know,
outsource. But I mean, ask people to bring lawn chairs and all other stuff so that, like, hey, bring your own seat.
It was a dude, wasn't it? It was a dude, wasn't it, that did it?
Yeah, it was one of these gay guys. Like, and
so
someone asked me, did you enjoy it? I'm like, no, it's not my type of gathering. They messaged me privately to ask me about it, and I told them what my problems were, and then they ran their mouth to the host. And I'm like, listen, I didn't tell you this so you could tell them. I told you.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't care. I would go to the host and I said, listen, I can make your party better. You know, let's do this and this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
They already made a public statement. I'm not welcome back at their house. And I'm thinking like, good.
Oh, well, that's dumb. You know, I mean,
if you have a public event and you can't handle scrutiny, I don't want to be around you in the first place.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's kind of how I am. But, you know, I just would have said, listen, it's a great party. You know, I'm enjoying the people, but I said, you know, the food on the ground, that's going to get ants in it.
That,
you know, somebody could get salmonella.
Oh,
yeah, there's just a way. I do things politically correct, but I do tell people, you know, if my sister says, what's going on? I said, I'll say, you smell like ass. I said, there's no way, or her breath smells like eggs if she eats scrambled eggs. You should be ashamed of yourself. Or I'll even tell somebody at a red carpet, I said, dude, do you want some mints or something?
Oh my gosh. I need to start doing what you do, because I'm at that point where I'm really tired of just saying the nice thing, right?
No, you can say that. Listen, you can say the nice thing, but you just do it in a way, you kind of stroke it before you punch it a little.
Right. Well, there was this one person like, oh, I really enjoyed time with you today. We should get together again sometime. And I'm like, I wanted to say, well, that's not going to happen. But what I did say is like, we'll see about that.
No, just say, yeah, looking forward to it. Doesn't mean it can be in 2 or 3 years. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I literally never want to see that dumpster fire of a person ever again. Like,
honey, I can't tell you how many people, they're like, Darcy's my best friend. And I'm thinking,
no,
you're the most horrible human being I've ever met in my entire life. But, I wish you well, and I'll pray for your demonic.
I hope that they improve as a person.
Get out of your body.
I hope that they improve as a person. Absolutely. But
sometimes life has to give them a little kick to do that. But also, too, sometimes I tell everybody, I'm like Coach D. Everybody calls me Coach D. But I don't, I want somebody to tell me if, listen, if I smelled like ass, tell me, if I got a breast, if I look like a fat sausage in an outfit, tell me. Don't make me go
I don't think you would look like a fat sausage ever. Honestly, I've seen your pictures. I've seen your videos. I appreciate that,
but I'm just saying, if I did, please tell me.
Yeah, wear something appropriate to the event and your body type, please. Just please. Like, if you got a fupa, cover that please. Like,
well, let me tell you, I have a song called "Helping Karma Along," and I wrote that song because there was, 2 people that were friends. They were actually. I actually hooked them up, and they ended up getting married. But the one guy was a friend of my ex fiance, and then she was, I met her on a set. They got together, and it's like, then after I set him up, she became a royal biatch to me, and I'm like, whatever, and she just, I don't know if she was jealous. I don't know what the hell, but it's like she just became really conniving and backstabbing, and then I ended up finding out she didn't even invite me to the bachelorette party. She never invited me. And she invited all these other people that I was friends with. And then she told them that I was working on a movie.
Like, you're not going to find out, right? Like, you're not going to find out.
Like, well, I got to tell you, you know what that guy did when I found out? He, the night before the wedding, had sex with a stranger at a hotel.
Well, of course.
And right before the wedding, and I thought, I knew about this. I could have just spilled the beans and been a total biatch, but I thought, you know what? Y'all deserve each other. You're 2 assholes. So,
Right.
you know, that's when I wrote the song Helping Karma Along. I
You
mean, they're
know,
divorced. They're divorced now.
of course
So
they
I'm
are.
like, yeah, but
Of
I'm
course
like,
they
haha,
are. You know,
you know,
like integrity goes into everything. Like you can
it
tell a lot
does.
about a person. There is a fine line, okay, between keeping your private life private and
Exactly.
like why is someone playing a tuba in my house? What is this? Do you hear the tuba over the mic?
No,
Oh, thank the gods. God damn it. Like
don't say
I'm about
GG.
to go
No,
in
no,
there and
don't say GG.
like
That's a
tear
bad
into
word.
all their gay ass. Like, because they are all gay
Well,
men.
hey,
Why are you playing a tuba in my house when I'm on
hey,
the
ask them.
microphone?
Tell them if they have a gay. I'm looking for a gay gubby.
Okay, I'll see. I'll see what I can do.
I want a gubby. I want a guy. I want one that's sweet and cute, and he tells me how awesome I am when I'm feeling
You
depressed.
know
And
what? If it's a
we'll be
means to
faithful.
meet one of these beautiful Hollywood women, I will play the part till I find one. How about that?
I will do a fate. Yeah, but I want to be able to like walk around naked in front of them. They don't care. Then we can
Now
look at
listen,
boys
honey,
together.
I'll just pretend that you have a penis and I won't care.
Oh, you're so
Stop
cute.
it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, look, you look great in
You,
that. Oh
you
my
look
god.
great not wearing anything,
Okay,
okay?
well,
If
but I'm
I
going.
was into vagina, I'd be all over that, okay? Like sarsaparilla in the
That's
spring.
yeah, one of my bestest gay friends, Carlos. That's what he said. He goes, "Girl," he says, "if I like women, you might make me straight." But no, that's not true. But he's married down as a baby. But yeah, I just love Carlos. But the thing
Well,
yeah,
we
that's the
are
one thing.
about damn near 30 minutes over our cutoff time.
Oh
And
my gosh! Oh gosh! Oh gosh!
so I
Let's not
appreciate
stop.
you so much, Darcy. This was wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out.
Well, thank you, Crowley. Thank you for everybody listening. Love you bunches. And, hope you come on my channels and see what I'm all about.
Absolutely. And her descriptions can be found in the link below. Now, everybody, you got to like, comment, and subscribe and share to all of your friends and ring the bell to get notifications for all these brand new projects coming down the pipeline. We got developers from the blockchain. We got developers from cryptocurrencies. We got the owners of these projects so you can learn about the people in the space so that you can be educated and do your own research. With that being said, the last thing you need to do is when you get some Ecoin because she's connected to Ecoin is you got to hold all that shit.